So I want us to notice, when you think of being sacred human, what comes to mind? Word or two. What's it mean to be sacred human? Honor, holy, connected, loving, engaged, sovereign, alive, graceful, creative, in awe. In awe. So notice when you think about it, what comes up for you? What's the one or two words that comes up for you? Joy, divine, contentment, home, blessed, bliss, purity, grounded, finally, curious, connected, love, welcomed. So notice how that all feels. Because we sense not only in our physical body, but we have a physical body, emotional body, a mental body, and a spiritual body. The 4 bodies. So it's important for us to tune in. So I also want us each to ask ourselves, when I hear the statement, I am sacred human, do I fully believe that? And how much of the time am I living in that experience? How much of the time am I living in that experience? Because that's what we're called to do, to be. And so think of the words that we shared. That's where we're supposed to inhabit. And the purpose isn't to judge. Oh, I'm not. The purpose is to say, how can I more fully be in that state on a continuum? That state on a continuum. And to also look deeply at what holds me back. What holds me back from being in that space? Very important for us to ask ourselves. So notice what comes up for you when you think about what holds me. Don't worry about other people. What holds me back? How can I be in the world and move my body and consciousness and being, my body's consciousness and being, so that I have a more fuller, richer, deeper experience of myself as sacred? It's usually much easier when we come into a community of like-mindedness that pursues such and practices such, to practice together. Our meditation, to focus the mind, to focus it on that connection. And I would suggest to us, think about when you do your spiritual practice, what we just did together. Those words come up because why? Connection. Connection. So one of the things we as sacred human, one of the challenges, tasks we have, is we get busy with everyday life sometimes. Does anybody have that experience? Yeah. And we go, and sometimes we lose connection to self or connection to the experience of being connected to the sacred. So where do you think the sacred dwells? Where do you think? Let me hear from you. Sacrum? Everywhere. Our soul. In this, in that. Because all of everything that is expressed is created and generated by spirit. But if I, as an individual, want to connect with the sacred more powerfully, where am I going to go? Inside. We can go out into the physical world. Notice the area you picked when I asked you to go someplace in nature. That is sacred to you. And when we're in that space, our physical body has a different experience than we may have in other places. So it's important for us to know what gives me the experience of feeling very connected. Yes, empathy is critical. So I want you to notice something. When we're in that connection, what do you think we're accessing and building? What is that energy that's within us that we experience in our bodies? It's the big I word. Imagination is expressed through our intuition. Our intuition. So intuition is the way the wisdom within us, the sacred within us, speaks to the brain and speaks to the mind, speaks to the four bodies, speaks to us on our journey. So I'm going to ask my friend to come up here for a little demonstration. And I'm going to ask him to stand right here with that. Grab your arrangement. Do you notice that? Look at what he has. Now imagine that he's coming to you. And he's going to gift that to you. What do you usually do? You reach out and you accept it, don't we? But I want you to notice, what are those? Red flags. Thank you, Amazawa. It may be dressed up. It may look nice. It may even present as a bouquet. But it's still what? Red flag. So I want us to stop and think about how many red flags do we need to see before we go, whoa. Hopefully, just one. Have you noticed the process in this lifetime? If we ignore the red flags, what happens? I think that's the most response I've ever gotten at once. I think you've had a full experience of what it means. Bad things, huh? So I want us to notice, why is it other people, certainly not me, ignores those red flags or pushes them to the side or says, oh, what do we say? What are some of the things we say when we see a red flag? Later. It's not really that bad. What was that? Could be worse. I can deal with it. You'll get over it. It's not really a problem. Later. What was that? Learn acceptance. To maybe I'm wrong. So let me ask you this. When you've had Spirit speaking to you, truly, when has Spirit ever been wrong? Not so much. So I want us to pause. I want us to take a moment and say, I need to pay attention to Spirit, the wisdom within me, speaking directly to me. So I want you to think about this. How soon do we want to respond? Now. Immediately. It's one of the affirmations I practice. I listen and respond to my intuition immediately. Want you to know there's no good excuse, no matter what journey we take on our mind, with our mind, to ignore our intuition. So I want you to think about this. Here we have this powerful connection, and then we ignore it. Not in our best interest, is it? So I also want us to look deeply at that connection. Our spiritual practices help us make the connection to the sacred. Whether it's the sacred within us, the sacred in nature, the sacred in other beings. Princeton University just did a research project that, due to the electromagnetic fields, believes that our brains are connected to other brains 6,200 miles from where we are at this moment. Some of the brains we may not want to spend time with. But we also have the power to help those brains heal. Because think about it, what do we need more than anything else when we are suffering? Love, connection, support, understanding, non-judgment, acceptance. Those are the things that help us to heal. Interesting, huh? I want us to think about, we're in this physical temple. Think about our social connections, because the physical is always pointing to the spiritual. So it's important for us to look at our social connections, the way we show up physically in the world. So when we're healthy in our social connections, that means what? We have people. We have friends. We have community. And it has to be a place where what has to occur? Remember those things we talked about in the beginning? Those things have to be part of the experience that we have. The joy, the connection, all those things. Remember those? If we don't have those, then this system will begin to fail. It shows that if we don't have healthy social connections, we decline physically and psychologically. And the hard part about that, we can say overall it's a detriment of health. Our life is shortened. Research tells us when we have good, healthy social connections, 50% increase in the chance of longevity. 50% chance. So it's time for us to pause and say, how are my social connections? Even beyond this room at this moment in time. In my day-to-day life, do I have a place to share fully me? So we know those healthy social connections lengthen our life because it strengthens our immune system. Strengthens our immune system. And what's interesting to notice, research also says that we recover from disease much faster. And because our immune system is strengthened, we would avoid disease. Now we all know that we're in this process in this lifetime that none of us get out of this alive. So does that mean we won't have any disease? We probably will to someplace in our life. But how we work with it in our body, in our four bodies, makes all the difference in our journey as sacred human, doesn't it? Because of the physical being an expression and pointing to the spiritual, sometimes, the red flags are hard to determine. So I want to give you some tips. Because I think many of us on the spiritual path are looking for what we might describe as soul ties. Soul ties, where we feel deeply connected not only to self, but to others. So think about a soul tie, because it involves the big V word, vulnerability. So think, what's vulnerability mean? And ask ourselves, how am I in working with vulnerability? Where am I in my practice of vulnerability? When you think of vulnerability, what comes up for you? Acceptance. Open. Honesty. Connection. Authenticity. Presence. Exposure. Being hurt. Courage. I want tenderness. I want you to notice, have any of you ever noticed that you needed courage to be vulnerable? That you feel exposed? Because true vulnerability means that when I'm with you, I'm 100% authentic. I'm 100% me. So we have to ask ourselves, where am I in that? And it may seem like, well, I don't know if I want to be vulnerable that much. I risk being hurt. But this teaching tells us when we are hurt, we have the capacity to what? Heal. Through our trust. Through our forgiveness. This journey is kind of what you might call risky business. But you can't experience the depth and beauty of this lifetime without risking vulnerability, without risking exposure. And so some of the things we need to think about when we're talking about soul ties, the emotional impact of that relationship should be supportive and nurturing. We should feel secure when we're with that other person. When it's not, when the emotional impact is draining and we become dependent or it becomes obsessive, the need to know where we are all the time, that's not healthy. That's not healthy. That's not a soul tie that's healthy. Soul ties can be healthy or unhealthy. The communication we talked about earlier, the communication is open, accepting, respectful. But if the communication is manipulative, guilt-driven, inconsistent, that is not healthy. Autonomy. This is the big one for us, autonomy. I get to be fully me as an individual. When it's healthy in the relationship, there's the encouragement for independence, the encouragement to develop our full self. It encourages growth. That relationship encourages growth. When it's not healthy, it's dependency. We might even use the C word, control. We might look at the energy, our energy impact when we're in a good place, within a good relationship. We feel energetic and peaceful. When it's not, we're anxious, we're distrustful, we're exhausted. There's lots of instability. And then our spiritual feeling, which we must tune into. When we're around a healthy relationship, we are uplifted. We're called to a higher place. We feel connected to our purpose, to life. It's exciting. When it's unhealthy, conflict, we feel stuck, we're burdened. So we have to come back to ourselves and say, where am I in my personal journey of vulnerability, my personal spiritual practice so that I connect? And especially, what am I doing with my intuition? Am I ignoring those red flags? I really don't hopefully ever have to have a full bouquet to get my attention. Notice when we meditate and focus the mind, we experience something greater than ourselves, even though we're quiet within ourselves. Think of the places where you have experienced awe in nature. Think of the experience of awe. What has that moment been like for you? What do you feel and experience in that moment of awe? Peace and beauty, overwhelming gratitude. It's not all about me. What else? Bright light. Communion? Complete union. What was this one? Blatantly alive? It's a long ways between here and there. Perspective. Wonder. Joy. Kindness. And the big word, the highest expression of spirit is love. The highest expression of love is beauty in all its many, many, many forms. So the questions before us: how do I respond to my intuition? Am I making good connections with it through my spiritual practice, because I can increase my intuition? That voice can not only end up in my ears, it's actually not in my ears, but I feel it throughout my being. So I'm going to ask us to come together now in a practice together. So I'm going to invite you again to choose another place in nature and to close your eyes, and I'm going to have us listen to this song, and then I'm going to check back in with you. Long, slow, deep breath in. Don't give up. I am sacred human. My journey is within. I slow my body. I move into stillness. Here, I connect self. I connect with all of life. I connect with the Great Spirit, Creator, expressed in all of creation, the visible, the invisible. It empowers me to meet the challenges of life, to explore the full expression of who I am as sacred human in this lifetime, to be an agent of change, to places where there is suffering, an instrument of peace, an instrument to relieve suffering. I am open. I'm understanding. I'm welcoming. I'm accepting of what is. And through this deep connection to the sacred, to spirit, I transcend time and space. My ancestors are here. My teachers are here. The one who lights the stars is here. And I remember this moment. It is my point of reference. It is a place where I connect deeply and I open to life. I'm energized and I live in a constant state of gratitude, a constant state of awe. And as I move through my day, as I move through this lifetime, I carry with me the remembrance of this moment. It guides me, nurtures me, sustains me. I am sacred human. Long, slow, deep breath in. The relaxing exhale. So good to be with my people. The commitment to connection with the sacred, to explore And how soon are we going to respond to our intuition? Immediately. When I see a red flag, I'm going to respond immediately. Thank you. Thank you. Love you.